Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to another edition of Wrestle Talk Show. I'm your host, Joshua Zimmerman, here to bring you the latest and greatest professional wrestling news as we collect it. A lot of different things to bring to your attention today. We have the ratings for this past week, including Impact. Raw was unavailable due to the President's Day holiday, go figure. SmackDown Superstars, Hall of Fame announcements, Chris Jericho to take a new role. It's rumored that next season he'll be joining what many a celebrity joined. And just a hint, it's on ABC for most of us, whatever your ABC channel is, wherever you are. Hopefully this rumor pans out. I actually think it's kind of funny, but we'll get into that. A lot of different things I think are funny. John Cena shooting back on the Rock this past Raw. And we have an unofficial WrestleMania 27 leak run sheet. So here we go. As follows, your February 17th, 2011 edition of TNA Impact scored a 1.13 viewership rating. That's down from the 1.15 of last week, and it's the lowest rating that they've gotten this year since September of last year. Anyone who saw the show, seeing that it didn't look like there was what's the best analogy? It didn't look like they gave a fuck. It didn't look like they cared what direction it went in. None of it really made any sense. If you watched it, you weren't hooked on it suspensefully. So it is what it is. SmackDown for the following night, February 18th, scored a 2.0, down from the 1.8 of last week, I believe. So at least that one's getting gaining ground. It's not good to see it fluctuate, but at least it's gaining ground. And here we go. The Hall of Fame list is brought to you by our friends at smartwrestlingfan.com, who just did a podcast last night, which is posted on their website at smartwrestlingfan.com. You can check them out Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. And here it is. HBK, Sonny, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Abdullah the Butcher, and I believe this is why I gave you the link to them. I believe there's one other that I forgot to write down, but I know I'm one short. I'm 99.9% sure that I'm one short. Chris Jericho is rumored to be considering the next season of Dancing with the Stars. Isn't that where they all go? And we'll see what happens there. I mean, he's a performer, wrestling, music, etc. So maybe it fits, maybe it doesn't, maybe it'll be good for a good laugh. But that's not knocking the guy. I just don't see the way Chris Jericho portrays himself on and off camera. I don't see him as a dancer, but that's just me. And we have an unofficial WrestleMania 27 leak. This was also brought to you by our friends at smartwrestlingfan.com. And it looks like minus one or two matches that I didn't get because they were spitting them off too fast. But here it is as follows, starting with the main event. The Miz with Alex Riley versus John Cena for the WWE title. Triple H versus The Undertaker, who both returned this past Monday night on Raw. Kind of interesting. Edge versus Del Rio. Orton versus Punk with the new Nexus. Trish Stratus with mystery, with mystery guest versus Drew McIntyre and Lay Cool. Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole with Jack Swagger. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the U.S. title. And finally, Rey Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. Now, let's get into The Undertaker and Triple H's return. I got into a bit of a debate with a friend of mine over this. I'd like to think I'm right. I know you guys will comment and then we can go from there, but I need someone to enlighten me. The Undertaker and Triple H returned on Raw this past Monday, and the thing that caught I watched the promo, I watched the entrances, and the thing that caught my eye the most is, I understand selling and all this, and they did it extremely well. Triple H looks 3 times bigger in the shoulders than he did before. Not to say that he looks bad, but you can tell that he's bigger, which means he didn't stop pumping iron with the injuries. My only problem is, this is a match that we either wanted Sting and The Undertaker or Wade Barrett and The Undertaker. WWE got wind of it on how interesting it would be with Triple H versus Taker with a rumored Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. Now, my only issue with this is that when both men entered, when Undertaker entered the ring Monday night, he looked puzzled to see Triple H. And I get it if you're selling it. But Undertaker's been gone for so long, and we've been playing this he's coming back thing, whether we didn't know it was Sting or Undertaker or Triple H. And a lot of people said, including the PW Torch, that there wouldn't be multiple comebacks on one show. They were obviously proven wrong. Not my agenda, but I did find it kind of interesting myself that both Undertaker and Triple H came back at the same time. But I argue that when the stare down started, Undertaker looked like he had no clue why Triple H would be out there. Undertaker was out there to make his comeback. You got the countdown in the little black house and the graveyard where the Undertaker comes out in the rain. And that looked good, sold good, everything was good on that. But if you know, and trying my best here not to criticize, but if you know that the Undertaker takes interval months off, written into his contract that he doesn't wear himself down more or less, why wouldn't you hype this 3 months ago? Because the first thing I said to my friend was, this will be a good match, but I understand it'll be Triple H against Undertaker, and Undertaker's motives are already established. Somebody's going to challenge his streak. That's a given. We knew that was going to happen. My only concern is, like I said, it was kind of out of the blue. It's a filler for the Wade Barrett Undertaker thing that they planned months ago, and it didn't work out. So my only fuss with this is, how come no build-up? How come they both just come back on Raw 5 weeks, 5 Raws before WrestleMania, and you know Undertaker's motive, but Triple H has beaten everyone in this game. Where's your feud? Where's your baseline for your match? And I don't, unless there's something I'm not seeing, I don't really see where the feud is. Now, Triple H was quoted in a recent interview that he's accomplished everything, like The Rock, he's accomplished everything he's wanted to in wrestling, and has outside endeavors, but still has a love for the business. Now, that's good. But really, WWE, you couldn't, for how long you knew Undertaker was coming back, you couldn't have sold this a little better? Just a thought. Just a thought. And it'll be a good match. I'm not trying to downplay it, but we'll see what happens. As for TNA, because, we've got to touch on it, is what are they doing? Really, this past Thursday, folks, if any of you disagree with me, we obviously watched a different program from one another, but this past Impact was horrible. That 800-mile-an-hour booking that they're known for, and they keep hyping the March 3rd edition of Impact, which leads me to believe, as Greg Parks said a couple nights ago from PW Torch, the rest of these Impacts will get lost in the shuffle when you're promoting that your March 3rd edition is more important than any other edition you're going to do right now. And then another thing has to be brought up is, will it really matter if over the last year TNA has consistently lost ground in its ratings? You have the hype, you have the peak in the beginning and middle of the show where the fans find a knockouts match or find a beer money match that's worth watching, and then within the 2-hour period, when you break it down quarter by quarter ratings, they lose viewers. So how much of this is going to go on before Spike says you're not pulling your weight? I mean, SmackDown on Sci-Fi, just to give you a comparison, is doing 2.0s, and you remember my argument in previous videos that what the hell is wrestling doing on science fiction? But it's nestled in well. It took its beatings the first couple weeks, but it made it a point to give you material that would bring it to that 2.0 or near it or better within the first couple weeks it was on the air. TNA just gets these crappy ratings and they're allowed to continue. What is going on? Explain it to me, somebody, please, because I am legitimately confused as to how this show is still on the air. And another thing, Jeff Hardy's court date, thanks to his lawyer and his lawyer's prior obligations, has been continued yet again to March 21st, 2011. So, the question lingers, will this man ever have his court date where he's expected to plead guilty? I mean, we've read all the tabloids and read what's been negotiated, but when will it actually come down to where this sentence gets passed down, Jeff Hardy does whatever he has to do, and we can be done with it? Let's review, shall we? Original arrest was on September 2009. The charges, although some of them dropped, lessened, or pleaded down, were trafficking in opium, 2 counts of possession with intent to sell or deliver, maintaining a dwelling to keep a controlled substance, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And ever since that September 2009 raid, he's gotten continuances after continuances after continuances. And he's even most recently come on and said that with the plea deal and this being his first offense, he may not see any jail time. TNA has put their world title back on him despite his ongoing legal issue where nobody can say for certain what's going to happen. and he may or may not face a fine, ARD, or community service, or no action at all. He might have to pay a couple fines, pay the lawyer off, and he's set to go home. So I ask you, again, me or you go to do this stuff, and we are arrested, brought before a judge with our lawyer or our public defender, sentences carried down, sentences carried out, all within a month's time. This is Pennsylvania law. Your arraignment happens real fast. Your court date, if there needs to be one, usually gets postponed about a month. But this guy is going on over a year, over a year with no repercussions. So my question is, does the justice system apply to all if you're a well-known wrestler with a lot of money and you can basically play back and forth with the district attorney? And this is what it's been. Jeff Hardy's lawyer going back and forth with the district attorney on the plea deal. It should be this simple. DA offers a plea deal for the guilty plea that he's going to give on one or more counts. DA finalizes. Jeff Hardy and lawyer sign. They should not be allowed to go back and forth to the point where Jeff Hardy may not face any time at all. What message does this send? Sorry, I needed to get that out of my system. For all you wrestling fans, we want to thank you for watching our program. We understand it's been a couple of days. I apologize for the hair, as I just woke up and realized I needed to post this before I got too far behind. Later tonight, I will be, for those of you who didn't see it or couldn't see it, I will be posting clips of The Undertaker and Triple H's return and the rap battle on The Rock from John Cena and The Rock's promo on Cena. 2 videos that'll be in the Outside the Ring column of the video section, available at WrestleTalkShow.webs.com. We encourage you to subscribe to us at YouTube.com/CWE Company. Send all show-related emails to CWECompany@gmail.com. Friend us at both Facebook and Twitter at CWE Company. And until next time, we'll bring you the most up-to-date information as it happens. Thank you again. I appreciate this. Thanks for listening, guys. Have an excellent day.